Samsung has nailed the new Galaxy S26 Ultra. There, I said it. Okay, but really, this has a few new hardware improvements that make all the difference, and several software features that round off. The result is a phenomenal phone, at least based on my brief hands-on time here in San Francisco. Good morning from San Francisco, and good morning from Galaxy Unpacked 2026. I'm Nirav, and this is the new Galaxy S26 Ultra. If you're looking at just the specs, it'll be very easy to dismiss the Galaxy S26 Ultra, but that would be a mistake. The S26 Ultra brings a host of improvements in key areas that make all the difference. It's slimmer and lighter, and the rounded edges make it seem more like the rest of the lineup. The result is the nicest Ultra phone in the hand that Samsung has, well, ever made. There are also a few key upgrades that make this a great phone. First, as I said, this is thinner and lighter than the S25 Ultra, and it's really nice in the hand. It's just 7.9 millimeters thick, which is 0.6 millimeters thinner than last year, and it's also 4 grams lighter. All in all, it makes for a gorgeous in-hand feel that's one of the best I can remember on an Ultra. The S26 Ultra still has the same camera setup as the S25 Ultra, but the main camera and the big telephoto both now let in way more light. The 200 megapixel wide camera has an f1.4 aperture and lets in 47% more light, while the 50 megapixel telephoto has an f2.9 aperture and lets in 37% more light. The result is that it's meant to be much better low light performance, which is kind of borne out in my brief testing here, but I'm going to reserve judgment on that for the full review. Samsung has also improved Super Steady Video to add this really cool new Horizon Lock feature that basically allows you to rotate the phone up to 360 degrees without affecting the overall video. Say goodbye to your gimbal. This is based on real-time gyro and accelerometer data, and while I'm reserving judgment, my first testing has me excited about this. There's also auto framing of 4K content. The S26 Ultra uses sensor-based real-time AI processing to let you frame 4K content without losing quality. It also adds a new advanced professional video codec, which they say offers virtually lossless video at up to 8K resolution and 30 frames per second, and specifically lets you edit that without losing a lot of this data, despite even with multiple rounds of edits. All in all, this is actually a bigger upgrade than it seems at first, and I can't wait to test all of this out later this week and in the weeks to come. The other big upgrade is in the battery. No, not in the size or the technology, as it's the same 5,000 milliamp hour lithium ion battery as last year, but finally in the charging. We have faster charging, and the S26 Ultra charges at 60 watt, which Samsung says will charge the battery to 75% in 30 minutes and to full in around 49 minutes. The absolute best thing, you get a 3 amp cable in the box, and you can get the full speed with this cable and any compatible charger, like my favorite ones from Nomad and Anker that support 60 watt or higher. Lastly, there's also the new Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 for Galaxy, which Samsung says delivers big performance in on-device AI. The raw numbers include a 39% increase in NPU, 24% increase in GPU, and a 19% increase in CPU performance compared to the Snapdragon 8 Elite in last year's S25 Ultra. This is paired with 12 gigabytes or 16 gigabytes of RAM, and yes, while I need to test the overall results, my first testing does make seem a little bit faster at least. Those are the big hardware improvements, at least aside from one that I plan to mention in detail later, but it's also worth noting that Samsung is focusing heavily on AI software this year. First, there's a much easier way to make edits to a photo after capturing it, as you can now tell Galaxy AI to make those edits just by typing. Yes, there's vibe coding, and now we can just do it via text without needing to draw, use your voice or anything like that. Some examples include taking a photo and adding a background for the perfect holiday snap, or restoring the piece of cake that someone took before you can take that perfect photo. There's also a fun feature that lets you take a picture of your favorite hat or jacket and apply it to the photo you just took. It's kind of cool. It's also a little gimmicky, but it's actually kind of fun. And it's the kind of thing that you can have a lot of fun with. Yes, all the photos still have that AI watermark at the bottom, but it's never been easier to take or create the perfect photo for you. To help, there's also a brand new one-stop creative studio that houses all of the different AI creative features and lets you easily create sticker packs, invitations, wallpapers, contact cards, and so much more. There's also an improved audio eraser feature, a document scanner that works directly from the camera, and my favorite, a new screenshot analyzer that automatically sorts screenshots into 8 categories. Listen, given the state of my screenshot folder on most phones, thank goodness for that. As we know from the rest of the industry, AI isn't just for the creative aspects, and Samsung, like many others, is heading towards an agentic AI future where your phone will proactively do things for you. To kick this off, there's a new Now Nudge feature built into the Samsung keyboard that's kind of reminiscent of Magic Key on the Pixels, and it will proactively suggest actions like viewing your calendar, creating an event, looking up place on maps, or automatically sharing photos from a trip that someone just asked you about in the chat. There's also some improvements to Now Brief with more personalized updates, but the big one is that it now automatically pulls things like reservations and bookings from your notifications rather than needing you to create a calendar event. My biggest pet peeve with Now Brief on the S25 Ultra was that I had to go and do everything in the calendar anyway. Thankfully, now I don't have to, and this makes a big difference to its utility throughout the day. One particularly cool new feature is agentic automated app actions, which allow you to fire up the agent and ask it to do things for you, kind of like you might do when you're coding. At launch, it's really limited, as in it's only going to work with Uber. But it does mean that you'll be able to order an Uber to the airport or to a specific location, and Samsung does plan to roll this out to other rideshare services and then food services like Instacart and DoorDash later. There's also some improvements to call screening and scam detection, with the latter using Galaxy AI to detect if the call contents is a scam or not. Look, I fell for a phishing scam years ago. It was honestly a few hours after landing and seeing my late father for the first time since he died, and trust me, this can affect everyone, and it's great to see Samsung join the party here. Now the big one. For the past few months, we've heard rumors of Samsung taking privacy to the next level with a new Privacy Display feature. And guess what? The rumors were true. The world's first privacy screen on a mobile device is here, and it's kind of fantastic. It's exclusive to the S26 Ultra, and it's a key reason you want to consider buying this phone this year. We've all been there. You're on a train or a plane and you get a notification that pops up, which you hope no one has seen. It might be a bank balance, a declined payment, a raunchy text from a special someone, or even just a private email from work that you really can't have someone see, especially when you're dealing with something like an embargo. Yet the chances are that someone did see it over your shoulder, especially if it's busy, or off to the side. Now, the Privacy Display protects against this. When you get a notification or you enter your passcode or pattern to unlock your phone, the display dims individual pixels so it's virtually impossible to see at an angle. This works with at both a hardware and software level, so it won't come to past devices, but it's a killer feature that makes the S26 Ultra a really substantial upgrade. Yes, you can still see it at an angle, slightly at least, but given it disappears quite quickly as well, it's the most private screen I've ever seen on a phone. It works across both wide pixels and narrow pixels on the display, and in whether your phone is in horizontal or vertical mode, meaning it's pretty precise as well. Look, given that everyone has different desires and needs for privacy, it's really customizable. It can be enabled or disabled for notifications based on specific apps. So for example, if you really don't care about your social media being seen, but you definitely don't want others to see those messages or your banking apps, it's entirely possible to customize it for your needs. It also works on the lock screen where it hides just the notifications from that app, and it still keeps the rest of the display visible. Yes, there's points where the display feels a little darker and things like that, but it's a wonderful feature. And it's going to need a lot more testing in my upcoming review, which I can't wait to get stuck into, but nonetheless, it's an exciting new feature for those who care about privacy. Now, what about colors? Well, the Galaxy S26 Ultra comes in 4 main colors, but for the first time, these are the same 4 colors available across the entire S26 range. The hero color is the cobalt violet, but actually, given that when you twirl it, it looks kind of navy and blue, I much prefer the sky blue. This is a color we've seen before in the base or the plus models, but it's never come to the Ultra, and I've always wished it would. If you'd rather something more standard, there's the white and black as well. The white's particularly nice. Yes, there's also 2 online exclusive colors, silver shadow and pink gold, and I don't know what they look like, but the sky blue is just beautiful and it's my favorite this year. For the first time, the Ultra gets the same beautiful color palette as that rest of the lineup, like I just said, and it's great because it makes it all feel like one cohesive series. The same applies to like the rounded edges and everything. Instead of the Ultra being its own phone off to the end, which could almost be its own range, it really feels like Samsung now has 3 cohesive phones that make up the S26 series. The Galaxy S26 Ultra is available to order today, and it launches on March 11th. It launches at a cent short of $1,300 in the US, so $1,299.99. Although, look, there's probably going to be a lot of pre-order deals as well. Based on previous years, this may include things like double the storage and other promotions, some credit for the online store, etc. As always, you can grab the latest deals using my links in the description below, and I truly appreciate it as well. All in all, I really like the Galaxy S26 Ultra, way more than I kind of expected to. At first glance, it seems like a modest upgrade, but it's actually a bunch of small upgrades in key areas that make for a more substantial upgrade overall, and make a fantastic phone, at least from my first hands-on. I can't wait to spend more time with it over the coming weeks, so stay tuned for the full review. What do you think of Samsung's new flagship? Let me know in the comments below, and while you're there, let me know what you want to see from that full review. I'm taking suggestions and I'll try and cover as much of it in either the review or in other content here on the channel, as well as on my other social accounts, which you'll find links to in the description as well. If you've enjoyed this video, please don't forget to subscribe as I have a lot more content planned. And while you're at it, hit the bell icon as I have some really fun things planned for the S26 Ultra over the coming days. Until next time, thank you so much for watching. Cheers, darlings.